Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we were working this morning on getting our stuff together. Hold on, let me just move that. Okay, it's better. Yes. All right, so we were working this morning on getting our NPC to actually have some proper dialogue with our character, and basically, when he starts talking with a character, the other characters can't speak to him. And I'm just doing a recap because I kind of rambled on this morning. I couldn't figure out how to get it done. I finally got it figured out. So let us run a few copies of the build. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so this will be A. This will be B. And this will be C. That's B. And that's C. Alright. Basically, once I walk up to it, I can see the icon turn green, which means that I can now chat with them, which is precisely what I want. And it doesn't show up as chat for the other ones because they're not in range. When they go in range, then they can chat. Now, when the first player goes into a chat, the other ones can no longer chat. So if I go into this range here, if I go in and out of the range, it stays as can't chat. And no matter how much I push on the chat button, it's not going to try to chat. If I walk out of that chat, then everybody goes back to normal, and now they can chat. If he's in chat and I enter chat, these guys can't chat now. And since he's already in range, but he's not, when I walk out of the chat, or when I finish the chat, he goes back to being able to chat. And he does not because he's still out of range. So that works. Let's take a look at the code and see how I was able to manage it. Let's just get rid of those. And code. Alright. In the controller, what I had to do was that when the character is created, the NPC needed to know which character was the owner of that NPC. And this is how I did it, where I just said, if this character is my character, then I'm going to find all the NPCs in my scene, and I'm going to set something called player con. I'm going to set that up on the NPC to say, take this. So all the NPCs will now get this script. In the NPC now, let's take a look at what we'd done. So the last time we were working on it, we had our state. There's a GM index, which we'll probably get rid of. I'm leaving it here for now. We might still need it. And then we have our current dialogue. So those were normal things. I've since added a photon view to the NPC, called it PV, and some sprites here. So I've got a sprite for it being a chattable character, a sprite for can chat, and a sprite for can't chat. I then have a link to that image so that I can change the icon for it. I then have something called in-chat distance, which is set to false. This will make sure that when me, the player, walks into contact with that NPC, that it'll be set to true, and when I walk away, it'll be set to false. I'm going to need that in the future. And then the player controller, this is the player con that takes in that player when the player first enters the room. Okay, we link our photon view, and then on trigger enter, I'm checking to see if the player. So I made this little script here, this little method that says basically if the collision compare tag is player, and the collision. So I'm going to get the player controller and run a script on that, which is here. And it's a very small one. It just says, is this me? And it's just a photon view is mine. So that will return true or false. And this basically just checks to make sure that this indeed is my player who's entering the controller. Because as you saw, we had all those different players there, and other players can enter and other players can leave. But I really don't care about those other players because it's only when they go into a chat that affects me. When they enter and exit the area, that doesn't affect me at all. So we're going to check to see if it's not me, then don't bother doing anything else. If it is me, then I'm going to put in chat distance is true. So I'm now in the area that I can actually do a chat. I'm going to set, so I'm going to ask it if the NPC state is normal, then I'm going to change it. Because if the NPC state was in can't chat, then we don't want to change it to something else when we enter. So this is only if I'm on normal and then I enter, then it'll go to can chat. And I change the state to can chat and change the icon to can chat. In leaving, okay, once I'm in can chat, I'll just skip leaving for now. And we'll look at update. So update is going to ask, is he pressing the button to chat? And is he in the state of can chat? If he's in that state, then we're going to open the dialog box, which I have all that stuff in the script here. It just instantiates the dialog box and sets the current dialog and starts the dialog. So it's going to open that. Just because the RPCs have a slight delay, I am going to set the NPC state to wait, and then I'm going to run this script here, which is going to change the state to chatting. I'll come back. Actually, yeah, I'll go to this now. So once we're setting it to chatting, and once we set it to wait, this should no longer be available. And then we go to update chat state, which is right here. The update chat state will take in whatever state I want to change it to. In this case, I'm changing it to chatting. This will call an RPC now. It's going to send it to all the players via server. It sends that current state. Oops. It sends the current state, and it also sends a name. I tried to send a couple things like game objects or whatever, but they can't be sent through the RPC. But it can send a string. So this is just the name of the player that is initiating the chat. Sorry, the chat state change. So here I have the update chat state, and this is the RPC. So once this is sent off, it will activate this script, which then has the state that it's changing to. It has the player that's making the change. So I'm in chat range, and I'm the one who is going into a chat. This is where I had to spend a lot of time trying to think of the logic behind it, and I've gone through it over and over, erased code, added code. It was getting very messy. So now I'm just checking two things. One, is this me that has made the change? Or is this someone else? So I have two things here. So the is me is going to check the string of player making change. And then on this NPC, the controlling player is already stored in player con. So I get the game object and the name of it, and I compare these two to see, is that me? Do you want me to chat? So I'm asking a couple of different questions. I've changed it. So this is saying, change the state, chatting. So I'm asking, do you want me to chat? Then there's nothing stopping me, because if I was able to send that chat request, it meant that the state was can chat. So the only way that I can send that request was if it was can chat. And then I set the state to chatting. However, when I send that signal, the other NPCs are going to get it, and the other NPCs are going to see that the player making the change does not match the NPCs on the other players' rooms. So that forces me down to, is this someone else? So if it's someone else, it says, is someone activating a chat? And if they are, then, so here we're saying if the change to state is chatting, then we're going to change the icon to can't chat and set the NP state to can't chat and just return out. We don't need to do anything else. Alright, so we've gotten into a chat state. Now we can go and see what happens when we are leaving the trigger collider. So once again, if it's not me leaving, I don't care. Someone else can walk out, I don't care. I'm going to set the in-chat distance is false because this is me leaving. And then we're going to check two states here. Let's look at if we can chat. So we'll look at this one first. I guess I could put this above, but doesn't matter. The can chat is now saying that the chat icon will be changed to, so I'm leaving, I'm in the state of I can chat. That means that's the green icon. I'm leaving there, so I set it back to the white icon called chattable, and I set the state back to normal. That's fine. Nobody else needs to be affected by me leaving and me entering. However, if this NPC is in the state of chatting, I'm going to look for the dialog panel. If there is a dialog panel, it meant that I was in the middle of a chat and the dialog panel is there. I'm going to destroy the dialog panel. Once again, because of that delay, I'm going to set it to wait. And then I'm going to try to change the state to normal because I'm walking out of the area. I don't want it to go back to can chat. I'm just going back to normal. And I do check for that because when I go and say that, do you want me to go to normal? So I'm sending the message out. And when I receive the message, which I know it's me because I did this check up here, I'm going to check, do you want me to go to normal? If I'm still in range because I finished the dialogue, so I can actually click my way through and finish the dialogue, and that's the end of the chat. The dialog box is destroyed. I'm no longer chatting, but I'm still in the range of the person. So I'm going to check, am I still in the range? I'm trying to go back to normal, but am I still in the range? If so, let's just go back to can chat. If I'm out of the range, then I'm going to set myself back to normal. So that's what happens on my player when I finish a chat or walk out of a chat. And finishing the chat does this. There's the dialog panel, and it has the NPC stored, and it just tells him, okay, go to wait, and then set yourself to normal. Which that will run all of this code here and check to see if he's still in chat distance. Okay, but if I'm coming out of a chat and someone else is there, someone else would have seen the cannot chat icon. So we looked at, is someone trying to activate the chat by changing it to chatting? And we're going to look and see, has someone come out of a chat? Do you want me to go to normal? If I'm still in the range because I finished the dialogue, or am I still in the range when they finished it because they finished the dialogue? Then I'm going to check, am I still in distance of that NPC? If I am, I'm going to switch to can chat mode. If I'm out of the range, then I'm going to switch back to normal. Or they will go to can chat mode and they will switch to normal. And that's it. So the next step I'm going to take is I will then need to, when I'm going into and out of chats, set that up in the MySQL, because when I have a player that's not in that room and they enter that room, if the NPC is already engaged in a chat, I need to get that from the MySQL, because he won't know what's gone on in that room before he came in. So when he comes into the room, he's going to go to that MySQL chat, and that will set him to, it'll set the NPC into the correct mode of either saying, nope, I'm normal, or he'll say, nope, I'm already in a chat and therefore you can't chat with me. So it will set the NPC to can't chat mode, and then you'll be all set up. So that's the next time. I could probably get that done early in the morning tomorrow, but everything else is finished on that chat, and that will be it for today. So let us finish this off